What up nerds, it's Jason here from Custom Cans, and as the video title may suggest, we're going to be having a look to see if there are any fake DT990s in the wild, because the other day I was on Aliexpress and I was having a hunt around and I had a quick look for DT990s to see if there's any weird accessories or anything like that they sold for them. And yeah, a pair of DT990s popped up at a price which was suspiciously low. Like, we buy a lot of Beyerdynamics direct from Beyerdynamic, and we get an okay price, I would have thought. I don't know, the margins are super tight on Beyerdynamics. If you see anything that's like £20 cheaper than anywhere else, you've got to be a bit suspicious, because they're really, like, the margins are razor thin on them. So when I saw these come up at, these were like 60 something pounds, so half the legit retail price, I'm like, that can't be right. And if it is right, that's a really good value. We'll get hundreds of them. So I ordered some in, so we'll have a look and see. But already there were some warning signs when I was looking at the listing, because I don't know if you can see, but basically this is the old style this is the older style Beyerdynamic packaging, and this is the newer style one, which came in probably a year or so ago. So I was wondering, maybe this is old stock that they're selling through. Perhaps there was a clearance sale of a load of abandoned ones. Also the font which is used on the text has been updated recently, so that looks different. So these are kind of like an older model, only a year or two older, but that might be it. It might be that they are, you know, a warehouse clearance or something like that. But let's open them up and have a look. Okay, so let's get these ones from the AliExpress. So first thing I'm noticing is the real ones have a little paper sticker that says enjoy. Beyerdynamic have tried to do paper packaging and paper tape and everything wherever they can. These ones I got off AliExpress have got a clear sticker sealing them with DigiPower written on. Open it up, underneath the tab, that all looks legit. Like, the packaging looks right. I don't know if you can tell, but on the real ones they've got a Spot UV Beyerdynamic label, so they've got like a shiny Beyerdynamic logo in black on black. So the real one, so the packaging looks real so far. The serial number looks right. It's got an extra little sticker there with some Chinese writing on, but it looks right. Looks right. Inside they've got the proper leaflet advertising all the latest Beyerdynamic products, which is correct. We've got a Beyerdynamic pouch, which is correct, and the instruction manuals, they look about the right size. Yeah, they all look legit, but I'm looking at them, the head pad is not right on these. This is not the same as the European Beyerdynamics. So let's get these badges out. So yeah, I'm noticing that the pad doesn't look quite right. The way the seam is at the edge looks a bit different from these ones. The poppers are a bit further out, maybe a bit bigger. Another thing I'm noticing is that these have got the black velour pads. Now then, Beyerdynamic do a limited edition one, and that will say limited edition on the ear cups, and I think it's got silver text, and they come with the black pads. So it's the wrong colour pads for a non-limited edition pair of headphones, which makes me very suspicious. Other things, let's have a look. Is there anything else I can spot? Yeah, it looks like the limited edition because it's got the black mesh behind it as well, but it doesn't say limited edition. So it looks like they've copied an older version of the limited edition ones possibly and got a couple of bits wrong. But I'm also noticing that the yoke, I don't know if you can see here, on the original ones it's a brushed metal, like a brushed stamped aluminium, and on these they've got a slight texture to them. Yeah, it's definitely a different kind of metal forming process that they've used to make those. So yeah, but again, this, it's got the Spot UV on it. This packaging is correct. You know, if you didn't really know what you're looking for, you'd be very hard pressed to tell the difference between the two. And I'm still not 100% convinced these are fake, because they might just be like a special Chinese only model. But other things on the latest ones, they've got a little rubber grommet here where the headband cable goes in. These ones are like the older ones that haven't got a little rubber grommet. Well, they've got a tiny little rubber grommet there, but it's yeah, it's not as noticeable as it is on these ones. Yeah, Yeah, no, I think these are definitely fake because the mouldings on the plastic look like remolds. They look like they've taken a mould of the original ones and then made more parts from that. Like there's little imperfections that you just wouldn't get on a real pair of Beyerdynamics. The mouldings on the plastics just aren't quite as good. Like the plastics don't look right. Let's have a look inside, see how well they have faked the driver. Yeah, I'm 90%, even though these say made in Germany on the inside, I'm 95% sure that these are not legit. They just don't, like the pads in particular, like Beyerdynamic do a lot of their tuning with the pads and they get the pads right. They've got good pads. These don't feel right. They're not Beyerdynamic pads. But yeah, same size screws, T6. So most of these parts will be interchangeable. Like the headband doesn't look quite right. It's got like, I don't know if you can see, like a pointy bit in the middle there. This one's a bit more round, like it just looks a bit malformed. Let's have a look. Let's have a look in here. So pad comes off as per usual. Again, under here, it looks about right. It's got the retaining ring. They're built in the same way. It can be really interesting to have a look, see what is in here. So, oh, I just jammed this through the paper. Don't do that. Don't use a pointy screwdriver to get this out. I won't do that on the real ones. Under here, it's good. It's good. They're faking it. They've really taken their time over this. These are some of the best fakes I've seen. Like everything looks really good. Let's do this in the safer way. I might have to get another tool. Oh, scissors will do it. There we go. Right, so you can see the real driver there, and you can see the fake driver that I've just ruined, and you can see that they've printed this design around here, so it looks like this. Like it doesn't look right, but yeah, to the untrained eye, it looks like that, and there we go. That is not legit. That is not a Beyerdynamic driver. It's the same size by the look of it, but it just not the same. So yeah, Beyerdynamic have been making these drivers in a similar way for 30 years or something like that, and it's quite an old school way of making a driver. It's quite unusual. You don't really see them made like that very often, and that is just not right. So yeah, and that's all loosey goosey in there. These will be clipped in, glued in. Like they've copied the clips and then they've just clipped in a driver that doesn't quite fit as nicely as the. Yeah, so all of this stuff is copied really nicely. It's like a perfect copy of the original. They've got the paper here. I'm surprised that they printed that on there. Maybe it just didn't look quite realistic enough, and I thought they'd print it on there to make it look more realistic. But yes, there are. So yes, there are fake Beyerdynamic DT990s in the wild. So if you're buying some DT990s, this is what I would say to be careful of. First of all, if they've got that older font with the curlier nines, you see these, the font on there, they're fatter and straighter legs on the 9. These are a thinner and curlier 9. If they've got that old logo on, it's either going to be old stock or it's going to be fake. So watch out for that. If you see black pads on a non-limited edition one, that's a warning sign. They might well be fake. The pads are actually pretty good fakes. Like they've got the same holes in the back, like that. You see how they've got the holes in the back? They've copied that. But these are actually a copy of a DT770 pad on a pair of DT990s. But all the materials are just a little bit jankier, and everything's like a little bit. It's just not as nice. It's just like that's a much more even shape. This is all like got weird lumps and bumps in it. Other things that are a dead giveaway, if you can see a good picture of the arms and they've got a rough texture on, like that, like a texture, that's no good. It should be a brushed aluminium kind of thing on there. Other than that, yeah, it'd just be a case of opening them up, or maybe just Give me a minute, I'll get a multimeter and see what how many ohms they are. So these are supposed to be the 80 ohm version, which are rarer, like 250s, kind of the standard for DT990s. But they do make an 80 ohm one, and I would expect if it was real to be just under 80, like 76 ohms or something like that. Let's have a look. 87, so just over 80 ohms, so closer to 90. So the real ones were just under, these ones are closer to 90, so over 80 ohms. What the actual driver is. So obviously that's measuring the cable as well. Driver's 86, so yeah, it's still more than 80. Let's put this back together and have a listen. So where I punch through the paper, it's got paper on the other side, it's not going to make any difference. Like, they're not terrible. I would say, you know, like Super Lux do similar models to Beyerdynamic. I'd say they're probably as good as the Super Lux ones. They're quite bright, which is kind of what you expect from a 990, but these ones are brighter. They've got more treble than the original ones. Yeah, I might just do a quick graph and then we can see what the tuning's like. So there you go. These ones are brighter. You've just got more treble than the original. The bass doesn't go quite as low as the original. But yeah, overall, you know, good copies, but watch out. There are fake ones about. So yes, if you're thinking of buying some new DT990s, obviously get it from a legit retailer if you can. If you're on Aliexpress and they're half the price, be very suspicious. Anywhere where they're a bit, you know, anywhere that they're under £100, I would be very suspicious of. And obviously look out, I think the easiest thing to see is on the arms here. If that's got a rough texture rather than a brushed aluminium texture, then that will be a definite indicator. And if you've got black pads on a non-limited edition pair, that's super suspicious as well. So I hope that was interesting as per usual, and obviously a nice little lookout for people. You know, I don't want anyone buying these if they, you know, if you're going to buy some Super Lux ones if you're going to cheap out. But if you're going to pay semi-real money, you might as well get the real ones. There's no point getting fake copies. So you know, obviously watch out for that kind of thing. Anyway, I hope that was interesting, and I'll see you guys again.